Poetry analysis, focusing on the works of Walt Whitman. In this lesson, we will focus on three structural elements of Whitman's work. The fact that his work is free verse, that he utilizes parallel structure, and that he makes use of cataloging.
When I heard The Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman. When I heard The Learned Astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and the diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer, where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself, in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars.
Let's look at three characteristics of Whitman's style. First, Whitman utilizes parallelism throughout his collection of poetry. Parallelism is the repetition of a grammatical structure throughout the poem. Notice the construction of the first four lines. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and the diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the learned astronomer, where he lectured with much applause in a lecture room. When I. Parallel structure. Another characteristic of Whitman's style is his use of cataloging. Cataloging is a listing of people, places, or things in a literary work. For example,
The sharp-hoofed moose of the north, the cat on the house sill, the chickadee, the prairie dog.
in this example, obviously animals are being cataloged. The moose, cat, chickadee, and prairie dog. In the first three lines, Whitman uses cataloging. For example, proofs, figures, columns, charts, diagrams. These are all similar ideas. They're all used to prove things in the scientific realm or the mathematical world. Each word creates a mental image of scientific, scholarly study. As we read on, we see the speaker prefers to simply experience nature rather than to study it. A final style characteristic of Whitman's work is that it is written as free verse. Look at the end of each line. Astronomer, me, them, room, sick, myself, time, stars. There is no rhyme here. There's also no meter, no set pattern of beats per line or syllables per line. However, that does not mean that the poem lacks rhythm. Looking at Whitman's use of parallelism, cataloging, and free verse are helpful in ascertaining the poem's themes. Parallelism helps emphasize that the speaker is introspective, that he is reflecting on his own experience. When I. Even if you go down further, I became. I wandered off. Whitman celebrated the individual. The use of cataloging in the first four lines creates a mental picture of the lecture given by the astronomer. It was focused on facts, data, and numbers, proofs, figures, arranged in columns. The speaker was shown charts and diagrams, which were used to add and divide and measure. All these words refer to science and math, tangible data, facts. Apparently everybody in the room was impressed by it except for the speaker. The speaker prefers to go outside and enjoy the inherent beauty of a starry night Speaker says, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. So he prefers nature, being outside, experiencing the beauty of the night, to sitting in a lecture hall, listening to facts and figures about the stars. The fact that Whitman uses free verse reinforces his theme of individuality. He does not conform structurally or thematically to the conventions of his time. So in this poem we see the themes of individuality, he does not follow the group. While everybody else applauded the lecture, he walked out and wanted to, again, appreciate nature in his own way. And an appreciation for nature is another important theme in this poem and for several of Whitman's other poems. So look for Whitman's commentary on individuality and nature as we continue to study his collection.